man, I wanted to talk about Neil Peart. I just don't know if we'll have time to get into that. Neil Peart's walked away from drumming. Did you hear this? Let's do 1.5 daily music notes. Neil Peart has completely walked away from drumming. And that fascinates me too, because you look at like the Stones, right? At their age. And you look at Mick and Keith and you're like, God, are these guys ever going to put down a guitar? Like, forget the huge stadium tours, which they're going to embark on this year. Like, can you just ever, like, look at Clapton? Clapton's like, I just can't tour anymore. And he just put out a Christmas record. You know what I mean? Like, for some of these guys, most of these guys, Fleetwood Mac. I said this at the time with Fleetwood Mac. I go, dude, it's not about the money. Fleetwood Mac doesn't need the money. This is what these guys do. They can't not be musicians, you know? And I really feel like that's the case. And then you look at Neil Peart, and they just did it. I think Geddy Lee maybe did the interview, and he was like, yeah, look, not only has Neil Peart walked away from Rush, he's put down the drumsticks, period. He's not playing at all. And you look at that and you go, wow. Like two different totally, like that just, the dichotomy in that fascinates me. Like you have people that literally cannot help but do this. And they will do it forever, whether it's at a stadium or, you know, like Clapton, you know, where he's like, I'm not doing the tour, maybe an occasional show, and can't help. Like Clapton made an album accidentally. Like he accidentally made a record, you know, like he couldn't help but make a record. What are you doing? I don't know. I'm just making a record. I didn't even plan on doing this. And then you have like somebody like Neil Peart, who's just like, I'm done with that part. That fascinates me. That just fascinates me to no end, you know? Because, I mean, I often wonder about myself. Like, I feel like I will do this forever. I will do this till the day I die. Whether it's on the radio or it's a podcast or a video or tweetily space, whatever. I don't even know. But I feel like I will be communicating with people via microphone for a very long time. And then you look at Neil Peart and you're like, oh, maybe I won't. Like, maybe, like, how could he just walk away from it like that? You know, but, you know, like, that's his thing. Like, I love that, like, complete opposite side of that. You look at stuff like that and it just kind of fascinates me where it's like, how does that come together like that? It's crazy. Anyway, let's get into this story, pretty big story, and we're getting closer to it here as we, wrap up December and head into Christmas. Super Bowl is going to be right around the corner, and we've been talking and following along with the Super Bowl drama and who's going to play with Maroon 5 and all these things that have been going on, and now we have a confirmed guest for Maroon 5. So I guess for the latest little while there, Maroon 5 hasn't been able to get anybody, hasn't been able to put anybody together. And Cardi B's in and Cardi B's not in. And now I hear they're still negotiating with Cardi B, and who really knows? Well, Travis Scott has stepped in and is going to join Maroon 5 on stage for the Super Bowl halftime show. Again, there still have been no official announcement from the NFL that Maroon 5 is a performer. So all the stuff that's been going on has been, being told through, rumors and sources and all this, all these, third-party things. That's what we've been hearing. But now they're saying that Travis Scott is stepping in. It was funny because I said the other day, Vince Staples. I said this the other day, and it's true. Because for the show, I read a lot of stuff. I read a lot, go through a lot of headlines. And if it's interesting to me, yes. Like if I see Van Morrison, blah, 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 that's something that's interesting to me. If I see, so-and-so pop star or whatever, it's not as interesting to me. Not as interesting to me in the audience. So I've been skipping Vince Staples stories for the longest time. And then I finally saw a picture of Vince Staples, rapping. And I'm like, I didn't know Vince Staples was a rapper. It sounds like a country artist to me, Vince Staples. Travis Scott. I didn't know Travis Scott was a hip-hop artist. I don't know. Travis Scott sounds like a country guy. I don't know if you noticed this, but country artists like to have two first names. Vince Gill. Like, it's just kind of their, their thing. And if it's not two first names, it's two one-syllable names, It's just, it's a Bill Steve. It's just always Dave. It's always like a quick, it's never like my last name, which I will not reveal. But yeah, I just found that to be interesting. Anyway, Travis Scott has stepped in. He said he's going to join Maroon 5. And what's interesting now is, according to Variety, Jay-Z, who was spotted at Travis Scott's show in Los Angeles last night, is trying to talk him out of it. You know, there's been a big lineup of people that don't want to take part in this halftime show because of the Colin Kaepernick and kneeling thing, that whole thing that's going on. So people have been turning it down. Artists have been turning it down. Apparently Rihanna was the first one to turn it down. And there have been a whole bunch of others. And now Travis Scott says yes. And now Jay-Z is trying to talk him out of it. Meek Mill also took to Twitter and commented on the story that Travis Scott will reportedly perform at the Super Bowl halftime show with Maroon 5. And his quote was, "For what?" And then he followed that up with another one that said, "He don't need that. He on fire already. Stay strong in this expletive." Some pretty strong words that he doesn't want him to do that. You got to wonder if Jay-Z is, or Meek Mill, or, you know, pressure from other artists is keeping Cardi B out. Cardi B is going to be there at halftime. She's going to be in town. She's doing the Super Bowl Bud Light music festival. You also look at all the artists that are from Atlanta that are doing shows around town, Migos and, you know, all these other acts that are not part of the Super Bowl show. So Travis Scott's in for now as we continue to follow this drama of Super Bowl 53, February 3rd, 2019, Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. Travis Scott in right now with Maroon 5, who continues to struggle to get people in there. And I'm curious to see if Jay-Z can talk him out of it. You know, that'll be interesting to see. See what happens. I'm curious to see if Jay-Z is going to talk Maroon 5 out of it. I mean, you know, I wonder how that works. It's kind of interesting, though, because for a while there, we were seeing rumors of the NFL wanted artists to pay. And there were some rumors that some of the artists in the past have paid, or that the artists haven't paid, but labels have sort of paid on their behalf because they know the big, huge sales spike they're going to see from these things. This is all alleged and rumor. All alleged and rumor. And now you're starting to see, like, they can get artists. So it's kind of crazy to see the Super Bowl or football go from, hey, maybe we should start charging people to do this, to, oh, my God, we can't find a special guest. I don't know if the NFL is hurting anytime soon for this. Seems like all the sponsors are still on board for the whole thing. But we'll have to wait and see.